Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and this is a video that I've wanted to record for a really long time. So we all know that The Sims has collabed with a lot of brands over the years. Back in The Sims 2, we had IKEA, we had H&M. In The Sims 3, we had Sims 3 Diesel stuff, which actually is one of my favorite stuff packs. It's one of my most used stuff packs for The Sims 3. And then obviously in The Sims 4, we've had some higher fashion brands in the game. They also worked with MAC for the makeup, and it wasn't the most interesting brand collab that we've ever seen. And also a couple of months ago, my good friend Kayla, Lil Simsy, did a video basically talking about why the Sims 4 brand collabs don't really hit the same way that the old collabs used to. And in that video, she basically talked about like the difference in the brands. So the Sims 4 has gone for a much higher, like high fashion designer collab. A lot more than it has like your day-to-day average sort of looking clothes, which I feel is definitely a negative because there are definitely a lot of basic clothes, especially for masculine Sims, that we do not have in the game. So when modern menswear came out, and this is no hate to the fashion designer behind that whole kit and that brand, but it just didn't really feel like it was kind of covering something that we were missing. And so today I wanted to talk about my dream collaboration that The Sims could do with brands and also to create like products in real life. So thinking down that route, we're gonna start off with actual like IRL products that I think the team could work on with potential brands, and I would have no hesitation to spend my money on whatsoever. My dream collab, the tippy top, the pinnacle of brand collabs for me when it comes to The Sims and Maxis is working with Lego. I would absolutely lose my mind if they announced that they were going to create some like classic sets within Lego. Lego really do collab with so many brands out there. TV shows, we've seen Stranger Things, we've seen obviously like Star Wars sets are massive. I mean, the Millennium Falcon is so many Lego builders' dreams out there. We've also seen Friends, and I really think they could use those sets that already pre-exist to create some really cool Sim sets. So what I'm thinking is it's for the nerds, it's for the geeks, it's a collectible. As you can tell from the shelf behind me, I love collectibles. Hello, I am a nerd. And I just feel like Lego is iconic. They could take The Sims, which is also iconic, they could mesh them together and create so many cool Lego sets. Think about the Goth Mansion. Maybe even take it back to old Sims games. Imagine if you could have like Magic Town from The Sims 1 as a Lego set, or the Newbie household as a little Lego set with their little like old school table and the little like small blue kitchen. Oh my word. Also, if you've missed it recently, Lego have actually, within the last, I want to say, 2 years, have created their own range called the Botanicals range. I actually build quite a lot of these botanical sets over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/EnglishSimmer if you're ever interested. Most recently, I created this little like succulents and cacti one. But what if they like produce this, but you could, instead of just building like these Lego ones, they would be Sims themed, and you could maybe build like the mother plant from Strangerville, or you could build like a cow plant for yourself. I would be thoroughly obsessed. I just think it's something physical that fits in so well. And then they could also maybe introduce Lego within the game. Obviously, there is already a little building blocks sort of object. I never really use it because it never really works for me. It's tagged as toddlers, but then my toddlers like legit never ever want to build on it. I think I've used it like 2 or 3 times. But I really think that like everyone could build Lego. I just think it would be so cool. I think we could have Lego models within the game, maybe like Lego decals. I know not everyone loves having like English in their game, so maybe they translate it to Simlish. I just think it would be amazing, and it's like my dream collaboration ever. Second to Lego is definitely Funko Pops. This is something that I have been talking about for years. Pretty much ever since I got into collecting Funko Pops, which I think was about the start of uni, so like 2012, 2013. I got super into a lot of TV shows, and Funko Pops have collabed with so many TV shows and films and music creators and just anything. I feel like absolutely nothing is off the table for vinyl Funko Pops. I absolutely really like them. I know they're not for everyone, however, we already have them in our game, basically. Please don't sue the Sims team for this Funko, but in case you didn't know, they already have like models that kind of look like Funkos within Discover University. And whilst I wouldn't want every single one of those, I would love the Bob Pancakes one. I would love a cow plant one once again. The amazing Cottony Socks, who if you've never checked out, I will leave her Instagram down below, creates these amazing little clay models of cow plants. This is my OG one. It's the only one I've ever got. These little dudes sell out so fast. I've tried so many times to get different variants. I am thoroughly obsessed, and this sits just like over there on my little shelf, and I love him. Imagine having like a bigger version of him but as a Funko Pop. That's not to say that you shouldn't support small business and independent business owners. You absolutely should, but I genuinely think that there's a want for these products. The amount of times I've seen people like ask for vinyl pops, I literally go on Etsy every so often just to see if anyone's designed a Bella Goth pop vinyl, because I'm like, I am slapping my money down. Yes, I could do it myself. Yes, Funko do kind of encourage you to create your own models. I just don't think I have the talent to do so. Maybe one day when I'm feeling inspired, I'll do it. Like, imagine a little nervous subject. And again, like, they could just be characters from like past games. You could have a Grim Reaper, you could have a sad clown. I just think The Sims has such an amazing history that's like so full of life and Sims that people just remember from their childhood so fondly, and I think people want that physical memorabilia. I know in her video, Kayla actually discussed the possibility of The Sims collaborating with Monopoly, and whilst I would absolutely love that, once again, Monopoly, they've collabed with Fortnite in the past, they've also collabed with Fall Guys, they've worked with video games before. I would absolutely love to see The Sims maybe collab with the Game of Life. The Sims is basically the virtual Game of Life, and then you have the board game Game of Life, which I every Christmas play with my nieces. I am thoroughly in love with it, and what I actually think this could go really well into is maybe a scenario. I don't know if this is possible, but obviously with like the Game of Life, you choose like random things. So what if the game in a scenario sort of like randomized your career for you and then like somehow took you through the steps of Game of Life and like randomize the amount of babies that you had, basically taking like BitLife and putting it in The Sims 4. I don't know if that's ever possible. I also just want to see board games like virtually within The Sims 4. I think that's a missing factor of The Sims 4. I know that when Discover University was coming out, I really wanted D&D. I really wanted like a little nerd club where people could get together, play D&D, dress up and like explore their characters together, just have like board game nights. We have Don't Wake the Llama, but that's about the only like board game we really have within The Sims. I would also think a Cluedo collab would be really cool. If you're not in the UK, you might call it Clue, but think about it. We already have the disappearance of Bella Goth. What if they took that storyline of like Bella Goth being missing, like slapped on a milk carton and applied it to a game of Cluedo, and you had like Don Lothario, you had the Calientes, you had Mortimer Goth, Cassandra Goth, and they were all like suspects in the missing whereabouts of Bella Goth, and you as a player had to discover what was going on. And finally, when it comes to products, the most obvious one, personally in my opinion, is just selling products that we see within the game. When I started thinking about this, I was like, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously the Void Critter cards. This is again something that I've kind of gone out of my way to look for and research into, like myself. I was like, I wonder if I could get a full deck of the Void Critter cards, because they're basically like Pokemon cards. It's kind of the Sims 4 variation of Pokemon, which I absolutely love. And I think it would be so cool to be able to like have a little folder with all your Void Critter cards, and you could actually physically play a game of Void Critters just like your Sims can. I mean, when I saw that Cowplant Terrarium in Paranormal Stuff, I wanted to own that. I wanted that on my shelf, which kind of leads me on to my lifelong goal, and I've tweeted about this before. When I own my own place, I want like a creepy video game wall. Like I want a super like maximalist space where I can put all of the creepy stuff from like video games that I love. I really want a sad clown painting, which I know so many of you ask me about this Bella Goth oil painting that I have up. This is by the one and only Meteorite. I will link their Twitter down below. Their Etsy shop currently isn't open. However, I absolutely adore their work. And I also want like a cowplant wall skull. You know how when your cowplants die, they have that really cool like skull skeleton? I want to like eventually make my own or have someone design like an actual skull that I could put up, because like you see people doing that with like actual animals, and I don't really like fuck with that. I just think there's so many sick ideas within the game that they could actually like produce and people would want to buy. For example, take my little freezer bunny. The amazing SNW Games created an instructional like post on how to create these, and yeah, whilst this might not be the best quality one you've ever seen, I made it myself and I'm actually super proud of it. I'm not a sewer. I haven't sewed since I was like in primary school, but you know what? I own a freezer bunny, and what could be better than that? But imagine if like they actually sold these. However, I would suggest making your own version. Everything I discuss in this video, by the way, is all going to be linked down below, like all of the creators I mentioned, because I do think that it would be really cool if the Sims team could work with like small business owners and Etsy sellers to like create some products for them. I think that would be an amazing opportunity for both the artists and also the Sims team, because I know that the Sims team absolutely adore a lot of the stuff that these small artists are producing. Like you can go to Etsy in this day and age and just type in the Sims 4 merchandise and find some really, really cool stuff. And finally, onto the pack collabs, which are not as interesting to me, I will say. I do actually think that kits are quite good for collabs because it's like a small enough thing that you can definitely like pick and choose. I know I'm not the biggest fan of kits. I still think they're overpriced for the content that you receive in them. However, I do think they play into quite well the collaborations, such as the ones that we have already seen, even though they weren't my favorites. But just to list off some brands that I would maybe want to see the Sims team collab with, Doc Martens, or any shoe company really. I think like Vans, Converse, like I know we sort of have like replicas, especially Converse within the game, but I do think it would be cool just to have like more shoe options. I feel like we need to step up our shoe game. Also some high heels. Can we please collaborate with like a high heel brand? Which to be fair, a lot of high heel brands, like I feel like the ones that come to mind are like Louboutins and people like that, which is definitely the high fashion that, you know, probably shouldn't make like actual products for, because we all know how Moschino went down. I would not be able to afford a like £600 hoodie or however much those hoodies were. So maybe to make them a little bit more tangible to the consumer, maybe brands like Zara, you know, your high street sort of fashion brands that people go in and out of every day. Hot Topic. So many people want more alternative like fashions within the game. I think brands like Hot Topic or just any alternative brands, even maybe like independent alternative brands, retro-inspired brands. I think like those niches could be done really, really well when it comes to brand collaborations within the game. I'm gonna throw in a cheeky little Victoria's Secret promo because I just want some more lingerie, I want some more sleepwear, I just want the little bit of sexiness that I feel like we've missed. I feel like we got a lot of it within like base game and the first few packs that came out, and I feel like we haven't had any lingerie recently. We recently got the robe from Complex Sims, which I was really, really glad about, so big plus from me on that one. Also Uniqlo to go down the same sort of route as Zara, but I do think with Zara, you could also take a look at like their kids and their toddler stuff because they do adorable kid stuff within Zara, and so I think you could go down that route, which I think people would actually really, really enjoy. And basically, that's all I have to say on the matter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I absolutely want to hear your ideas on this front. What are your absolute dream brand collabs when it comes to The Sims 4 or the future of The Sims? Like, if Sims 5 is going to be a thing down the line, who would you want like the Sims team to maybe be inspired by or like officially collaborate with? Products that you would like to see in the real world, maybe taken from the game or just inspired by the legacy of The Sims? I mean, this has been going on for like 22 years now. How sick would it have been if we had got a Lego set for the 20th anniversary? We could even have like sets based on the worlds within The Sims 4, so just like skylines of the worlds. I just think there's so many cool ideas out there and I want to see them all. I want to hear all of yours. I know a lot of people want to see IKEA. However, I do think we've had a lot of like IKEA inspired-esque furniture recently. I mean, we practically have the Calyx shelves in the game from Discover University. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this video was interesting. I hope it got your juices flowing in your brain. Let's get our marketing hats on and try to come up with some interesting brand collabs together. Like even a Lego plumb bob. Okay, I need to stop going on about Lego. Thank you all so much for tuning in and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.